Starting off with the LA Angels, I have Mickey Moniak. The former first overall pick back in 2016 got off to a rough start in his career with the Phillies, only hitting 129 over his first 47 games. After being traded to the Angels for Noah Syndergaard last season, though, he has turned himself into a different player this season, hitting .282 with a .496 slugging and 12 homers. While he has been more effective against righties, this has definitely been a breakout season for Moniak. For the Houston Astros, I have Hunter Brown. After Justin Verlander left town for the Mets, the Astros had a big void to fill coming off of a World Series championship, and Hunter Brown has answered that call tremendously. Over 23 starts and 1 relief appearance, his ERA sits at 4.50, but has a FIP of 3.99, an xFIP of 3.34, 10 strikeouts per 9, and just under 3 walks per 9. Now the Astros have Justin Verlander and Hunter Brown. Pretty neat. For the Oakland A's, I have Brent Rooker. While the A's have had an all-time bad season, they have had a few bright spots, one being Brent Rooker. Through 106 games, he's hitting .245 with a .328 on base, a .470 slugging, and 21 homers. For the Toronto Blue Jays, I have Yusei Kikuchi. As of right now, the Blue Jays are battling for a wild card spot, and one guy that's having his best season so far in his career is Yusei Kikuchi, which has been huge for the Jays considering Alek Manoah is having a disastrous season. So far through 25 starts, he has a career best 3.52 ERA, along with 9 strikeouts per 9, and a career best 2.4 walks per 9. For the Atlanta Braves, I have Bryce Elder. The Braves are an extremely good team this season, but they've had some injuries in the rotation this year. One guy who has really stepped up, though, is Bryce Elder, who's having a solid season, posting a 3.39 ERA through 25 starts. For the Milwaukee Brewers, I have Yoel Payamps. The current NL Central leading Brewers have had a good bullpen this year, led by closer Devin Williams, but the guy behind him, Yoel Payamps, is having his best season by far in his career. Through 58 games, he's posted a career best 1.85 ERA and 10 strikeouts per 9. For the St. Louis Cardinals, I have Nolan Gorman. The Cardinals have had a shockingly bad season and are looking ahead to 2024 already, but one guy they can look forward to being a key cog in the lineup is Nolan Gorman. Through 104 games, he's hitting .241 with a .328 on base, a .487 slugging, and 24 homers. For the Chicago Cubs, I have Adbert Alzolay. The Cubs are in the thick of the wild card race right now, and one guy they can thank a lot for their success is closer Adbert Alzolay. Back in 2021, the number 5 Cubs prospect Alzolay was working towards becoming a future piece in the rotation, but after experiencing ups and downs as a starter, the Cubs transitioned him into being a reliever, and boy, has it worked out. Through 50 games so far, he's established himself as one of the best relievers in the game, posting 19 saves, along with an ERA of 2.70, a FIP of 2.72, 9.6 strikeouts per 9, and under 2 walks per 9. For the Arizona Diamondbacks, I have Corbin Carroll. Like the Cubs, the D-backs also find themselves in the thick of the wildcard race, and the guy they can thank the most is Corbin Carroll, their best player. As of right now, Carroll leads all rookies with a 4.1 Fangraph WAR, hitting .275 with a .354 on base, a .502 slugging, 21 homers, 61 RBIs, and 38 steals. He has easily been one of the best players in all of Major League Baseball this year. For the LA Dodgers, I have Bobby Miller. The Dodgers have had a ton of injuries to the rotation this year, but top pitching prospect Bobby Miller has stepped up in a big way for the rotation. So far, through 15 starts, he's showing his future potential as an ace of the staff with great stuff and solid numbers, posting a 3.86 ERA, a 3.54 FIP, 8 strikeouts per 9, 2.5 walks per 9, and under a home run per 9. For the San Francisco Giants, I have Wilmer Flores. Like the previously mentioned Cubs and D-backs, the Giants are also in the wild card race, and one guy that has come out of nowhere this year is Wilmer Flores. Wilmer Flores has had some decent seasons in the past, but none come close to what he's doing this season, as he's hitting .304 with a .365 on base, a .545 slugging, and a .145 WRC+, along with 18 homers through 95 games. For the Cleveland Guardians, I have Tanner Bibee. After surprisingly winning the division last season, the Guardians are spinning their wheels in 2023, but one guy that should be a big part of a young rotation moving forward is Tanner Bibee. After being called up in late April, Bibee has been sensational through 20 starts, posting an ERA of 3.01 along with a FIP of 3.64 and getting a good amount of strikeouts while keeping the walks and home runs down. For the Seattle Mariners, I have Bryce Miller. The Mariners are red hot lately and have had one of the best rotations in baseball all season, featuring great seasons from Luis Castillo, George Kirby, and Logan Gilbert. One pitcher, however, that was called up earlier on has provided great depth for the Mariners, and that's Bryce Miller. After a few bumpy starts in the minors to begin the year, he has been fantastic since, posting a 3.78 ERA, a 3.88 FIP, 8 strikeouts per 9, under 2 walks per 9, and just over a home run per 9. For the Miami Marlins, I have Eury Perez. Speaking of good pitching, lots of people were heavily anticipating what top pitching prospect Eury Perez could do after posting some big strikeout numbers in the minors, and he has not disappointed. Through 14 starts, he has a 2.91 ERA, a 3.75 FIP, 11 strikeouts per 9, under 3 walks per 9, and just over a home run per 9. The Marlins are right in the middle of the wild card race, and Perez is a big reason for that. For the New York Mets, I have Kodai Senga. While the Mets have had one of the most disappointing seasons of all time, Japanese sensation Kodai Senga has been every bit as advertised since coming over from Japan. With Verlander and Scherzer out of town, Senga has become the de facto ace, posting a 3.19 ERA, a 3.60 FIP, and over 10 strikeouts per 9 through 23 starts. He'll be a key piece for the Mets moving forward. For the Washington Nationals, I have Lane Thomas. While the Nationals are in rebuild mode, one player that has taken a step in the right direction is Lane Thomas. After being traded to Washington from the Cardinals for John Lester back in 2021, Thomas has shown a lot more than he did for the Cardinals. In 2.5 seasons for St. Louis, he only hit 172 with a 625 OPS, but with the Nationals since then, he's hitting 264 with a 771 OPS. This year, he's already set a career high in homers and RBIs with 20 and 69 so far, while hitting 286 with a 332 on base and a 476 slugging. For the Baltimore Orioles, I have Gunnar Henderson. The Orioles are having a great season so far, and a big reason for that is former #1 overall prospect Gunnar Henderson. Through 115 games so far, he's hitting 248 with a 328 on base, a 479 slugging, a 120 WRC+, along with 21 homers and 61 RBIs. He also leads all AL rookies with a 3.0 Fangraph WAR. For the San Diego Padres, I have Ha-Seong Kim. Like the Mets, the Padres have been extremely disappointing this season, but one bright spot for the Padres this year has been Ha-Seong Kim. Kim did have a solid season in 2022, mainly due to his defense, but in my opinion, this has been a true breakout season for him due to his improved offense. This year, he's hitting 280 with a 368 on base and a 448 slugging with 17 homers, 49 RBIs, 28 stolen bases, all while ranking 6th in defense at second base. For the Philadelphia Phillies, I have Bryson Stott. Coming off of a World Series appearance in 2022, the Phillies are sitting comfortably in the first wildcard spot as of right now, and one guy that has actually flown under the radar is Bryson Stott. Not only is he having an underrated season, he's having a breakout one as well. After a lackluster season at the plate in 2022, he has stepped it up big time this year, hitting 297 with a 344 on base, a 441 slugging, and a 111 WRC+. Not only has he been solid at the plate, he's also showing off good speed with 24 stolen bases and playing great defense, ranking 2nd overall in defense at second base. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, I have Colin Holderman. The Pirates got off to a fun start this year, but eventually came back down to earth. Colin Holderman, on the other hand, has had a solid season all year out of the bullpen, posting an ERA of 3.27 and a FIP of 3.22, while posting over 10 strikeouts per 9 across 46 games so far. For the Texas Rangers, I have Ezekiel Duran. The Rangers offense ranks 3rd overall in WRC+ this season, and one guy who's flown under the radar at the bottom of the Rangers lineup is Ezekiel Duran, one of the main pieces the Rangers got back in the Joey Gallo trade. After a down rookie season at the plate, he's taken off this year, hitting 287 with a 337 on base, a 474 slugging, a 122 WRC+, as well as 14 home runs. For the Tampa Bay Rays, I have Isaac Paredes. The Rays got off to a tremendous start, had a down July, but have picked it back up recently. Lots of names have had great offensive seasons for the Rays this year, but one guy who's taken a step forward this year is Isaac Paredes, the player the Rays got back for Austin Meadows in 2022. After an up and down 2022 season, he stepped it up in a big way this year, hitting 257 with a 358 on base, a 508 slugging, a 144 WRC+, as well as 25 homers, the 6th most among all third basemen in the major leagues. RBIs. For the Cincinnati Reds, I have Matt McLain. The Reds got very hot there for a bit, thanks in large part to the emergence of Elly De La Cruz, and while he has been very good, I'm going to give the nod here to Matt McLain. McLain has been contributing longer than Elly, and I don't think Elly has fully broken out yet. McLain, on the other hand, is having a sensational rookie season, hitting .297 with a .366 on base, a .516 slugging, a .132 WRC+, as well as 13 stolen bases, and playing solid defense in the middle infield. For the Boston Red Sox, I have Triston Casas. Casas got off to a very slow start this year, only hitting .133 with a .576 OPS in April, but since then, he's completely turned it around, hitting .282 with a .894 OPS since then. Overall, he has an .827 OPS, along with 20 homers and 49 RBIs. For the Colorado Rockies, I have Nolan Jones. The Rockies have been one of the worst teams in baseball this year, but one guy who's enjoyed a change of scenery is Nolan Jones. After not experiencing much success with the Guardians, he was traded to the Rockies this past offseason and is looking like he's living up to his potential. Overall, through 70 games, he's hitting .274 with a .354 on base and a .494 slugging, along with 12 homers and 36 RBIs. For the Kansas City Royals, I have Bobby Witt Jr. Unfortunately, the Royals are a terrible team this year, completely wasting a breakout season from former top prospect Bobby Witt Jr. In his second season, he's shown why he was a former top prospect, hitting .280 with a .320 on base, a .506 slugging, along with 26 homers, 73 RBIs, 37 stolen bases, and is currently leading the majors in defense among all shortstops. For the Detroit Tigers, I have Spencer Torkelson. It took a bit, but Torkelson is finally showing us why he was the #1 pick back in 2020. While his overall numbers are still on the lower side with a .235 batting average, a .318 on base, and a .445 slugging, he's turned it on in 38 games in the second half, hitting .252 with a .340 on base and a .547 slugging. Also during those 38 games, he has 11 homers, a pace of 46 homers over a 162-game stretch. For the Minnesota Twins, I have Edouard Julien. Not many players have really broken out for the Twins, but Eddie Julien has been quite the spark for the Twins in his rookie season. In 76 games, he's hitting .288 with a .380 on base, a .475 slugging, and a .139 WRC+. While most of his good numbers have come against righties, he's been an extremely good platoon player for Minnesota. For the Chicago White Sox, I have Luis Robert. After a ton of injuries and holding out hope for a breakout season, Luis Robert has finally delivered. Since beginning his major league career in 2020, the most games he's played is 98 if you don't count the shortened season in 2020. In 2021, his numbers look tremendous, but he only played in 68 games. This year, he's put it all together, hitting .266 with a .321 on base, a .551 slugging, and a .133 WRC+, along with 33 homers and 16 stolen bases. He'll be the centerpiece of the White Sox moving forward as they try to rebound from this dreadful season. And last but not least, for the New York Yankees, I have Anthony Volpe. Speaking of dreadful seasons, this season for the Yankees also fits that bill. One bright spot has been former top prospect for the Yankees, Anthony Volpe, who was given the opening day job at shortstop. Overall, his slash line doesn't look amazing, but he has 17 homers, 20 stolen bases, and is playing solid defense at short, ranking second overall in defensive runs saved among all major league shortstops. While his slash line doesn't scream breakout season, I think his power, speed, and defensive numbers are very solid for a rookie. So those are my picks. Tell me what you think down below in the comments. Would you switch out any of these players? Let me know down below. But that's all I have for right now. If you can on the way out, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll talk to you next time.